What's up, real MVPs? Ricky Widmer here, and welcome to a brand new week, a brand new episode of MVP Games Live right here on either twitch.tv or YouTube. I am joined, as I always am, with my beautiful co-host, Soapy Muffin.
Hey.
And Soapy, I found something out on MVP Sports Live, by the way. It's not something that we have run into a problem with, but we've run into this problem on MVP Sports Live that I found out that I did not know is apparently if we use hard swears in the first 30 seconds of a video, so if we say the F word or the C word, or I would assume, well, Dave and I said the F word. That's the one we said. But I'm assuming the C word would be in there. I'm assuming other harsh swears like damn and hell would maybe be on the slower side. The F word, the C word are on the high side. You know what they do if you swear like that in the first 30 seconds of a video?
Demonetize.
They limit the ads. They don't demonetize you. They just say, you know what? Maybe your video isn't right for everybody. To where I'm like, that's the only 2 times we really swore in the entire video. But that's something that I learned this weekend that I'm like, oh, we have to think about that going forward. So it's been over 30 seconds, so I can probably say fuck now. And YouTube will not demonetize this, but welcome into Games Live. You're probably like, Ricky, what the hell is this? This is where Soapy and I talk about all the latest in gaming news. Like today we're talking Microsoft buying Bethesda. This was something that I certainly did not expect to talk about today. We also got a lot of other topics. Soapy, before we get into everything, though, before I get into housekeeping, there was something really small that happened over the weekend that I just wanted to talk about in the pre-show that I didn't really think would take up a lot of time. But this goes back to what we talked about really on Thursday and then Friday a little bit on the show. We talked about PlayStation, the fuck-ups that they had with pre-orders, and over the weekend, PlayStation has put out an apology. Like I said, I hope they do. Their exact apology was, let's be honest, PlayStation 5 pre-orders could have been a lot smoother. We truly apologize for that. Over the next few days, we will release more PS5 consoles for pre-order. Retailers will share more details. And more PS5 will be available through the end of the year. Soapy, I just wanted to ask you before we do housekeeping and everything was this a good enough apology in your mind from PlayStation?
I mean, it's better than no apology. Like, my
Good
whole
point.
thing is I didn't expect, like, a super heartfelt apology from Sony. Mm-hmm. Sony could basically say, you dumbasses are going to give us money anyways.
Yeah.
Like, they could literally just say, like, might be, and everyone would be like, you know what, Sony, that's good enough. That's
like,
good enough.
They could have just tweeted out a gif of Bailey when she said, like, at the beginning of her heel turn, when she said the classic quote of, life sucks, then you die. Like, they could have just tweeted out that and said, sucks to suck, my guy.
Yeah, and then people would have been like, man, at least you acknowledged it.
Yeah, no, at least you did.
Yeah, and once again, like, it's a good enough apology.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not, like, the whole thing is, dude, Sony really doesn't care. Let's be brutally honest here.
No.
Sony the only reason they responded is because all of the backlash they got.
Mm-hmm.
If it was, like,
just happy
half
the
size, they wouldn't have cared.
Yeah, I'm just happy they did. As a PlayStation fan, I felt a little bit like, although I know you don't care, it's nice to know that you make me feel like you care. And I accept your apology as long as I can get a pre-order this week from Walmart. That's all I care about. Thank you. But before we get into everything we're talking about today, let's do some quick housekeeping, Soapy. Number 1, join the Discord. If you have not already, you're missing out. It's a great chance to conversate and talk to everybody from the real MVPs, patrons, non-patrons, the boys, Soapy and I, Dave as well. Link down below in the description on YouTube. This guy just hit it up at Twitch chat, !Discord. Get you that link at any time. Second is patreon.com/MVPvids. That is how you go ahead. That's one of the ways you can go ahead and support us. We have bronze, silver, gold, and platinum tiers where you can be rewarded for supporting us. And thank you to our Patreon sponsors, Pat Hill and Philly Sean. The other way you can support us and still get the rewards of a bronze member patron or bronze tier patron is sub to us at twitch.tv /MVPvids, where we are live every Monday through Friday And we're also on YouTube at MVP Entertainment. So go and sub and like and follow and do whatever you have to do at both of those places. It really helps us out. But Soapy, let's get into the main topic of today's show. Microsoft has acquired Bethesda Softworks for $7.5 billion. Polygon has the story. Microsoft has acquired ZeniMax Media, the publisher Bethesda Studios. The company announced on Monday. Phil Spencer, head of Xbox, published a letter on Xbox Wire welcoming the Elder Scrolls, Fallout, Wolfenstein, Doom, Dishonored, and Quake franchises, as well as Starfield and more to Microsoft. Here's what the letter said, Soapy. I will read it in full. Bethesda's games have always had a special place on Xbox and in the hearts of millions of gamers around the world. Our teams have a close and storied history working together, from the amazing first Doom and its ID Tech engine, innovating games on PCs, to Bethesda bringing their first console game to the original Xbox, the groundbreaking Elder Scrolls III: Morrowind. Over the years, I've had many deep conversations with the creative leaders at Bethesda on the future of gaming, and we've long shared similar visions for the opportunities for creators and their games to reach more players in more ways. Just as they took the bold first steps to bring the Elder Scrolls franchise to the original Xbox, Bethesda were early supporters of Xbox Game Pass, bringing their games to new audiences across devices, and have been actively investing in new gaming technology like cloud streaming of games. We will be adding Bethesda's iconic franchises to Xbox Game Pass for console and PC. One of the things that has me most excited is seeing the roadmap with Bethesda's future games, some announced and many unannounced, to Xbox console and PC, including Starfield, the highly anticipated new space epic currently in development by Bethesda Games Studio. Soapy, you're the Xbox guy, so I'll kind of let you take the podium now. What are your thoughts, and how excited are you for Microsoft acquiring ZeniMax Studios, which includes Bethesda?
I'm absolutely ecstatic. And it's mostly because, one, I'm just saying this is an absolute goddamn power move, because you know what happens tomorrow?
What?
Xbox pre-orders. So I'm just saying, you know, like, they're trying to maybe convince some more people to come over. The whole thing is, though, I will also say, there already are, like, some agreements between... because like I brought up before the show started, of how Deathloop, or I think it was Deathloop, and I think there's a game called like Deadwire or something like that. Yeah, those are owned by ZeniMax, but they're PlayStation exclusives. So, they still go to Sony. So
it's Deathloop and then Ghostwire Tokyo are the two games.
Yeah, I don't know why I said Deadwire. I think it was like I got the
Deathloop,
and my brain just went full edge, and it's like die, and I'm like, okay, cool, yep, everything's just dead now.
Deathloop that looks baller as fuck, and then Ghostwire Tokyo as well.
Yeah, and so just do want to put that out there ahead of time of those games are still going to be exclusives. It's just now technically they are now owned under Microsoft. So just a little power move of like, hey man, we're gonna make money. Yeah, well, not so much a jab. I think it was more or less this was probably something they were already working on, and especially because now I can say it, Bethesda has no fucking reason to not get a new engine.
Yeah, so like, because you're assuming that they'll just get the engines that Microsoft is using, right? Or
they have fucking daddy Microsoft's like infinite fucking money vault.
Or here's the question of, if they got a new engine, would Bethesda fans be upset because it's like now it doesn't feel like a Bethesda game?
No, they'd be happy because they've been bitching that the engine they're using is 20 fucking years old, Ricky.
But sometimes that's just the charm. It's just the charm of the game, man. That's how Bethesda game is.
Yeah, I love when every game that Bethesda makes, it feels like Fallout 76. And then when it doesn't have mods, it's Fallout 70 fucking 6.
Yeah.
And it's the worst game ever until you get mod support.
Well, and
like, I'm just saying, dude, that engine is old enough to legally drink, Ricky.
I mean, hey, sometimes then we just gotta pour one, get it on camera, pour one out for the for the system that it might be, or the engine that it might be dead. Because for me, the biggest question I had of this was two things. First off, all the news going on is holy shit. The Fallout New Vegas game is probably one of the highest or highly touted Fallout games. Many fans are thinking, are we going to get either Fallout New Vegas 2, or like you mentioned before we went live, maybe like a Fallout New Orleans, where it's like Fallout New Vegas, but it's a different setting. The thing I was kind of focused on when I saw this first happen, also for everyone listening, sirens are on my end, not on your end. So if you're in your car, don't worry, there's no sirens behind you. And for me, it's the exclusivity part, because I like that Xbox is saying, hey, the agreements that were already in place, we're not going to fuck with those. We're not going to be assholes and say that, oh, Deathloop is coming to Xbox and Ghostwire is coming to Xbox. Do they have the right to technically do that? Yes, they own the company now, and the games have not come out yet. But part of me is like, although it might be a loss in money right now, it's a good guy move, because Xbox, to me, has always been the good guy in the console war, has always been the, you know what, we don't really care if we win. We just want players to play and gamers to play the games that they love. The question that I have going forward is that, let's say a new Fallout game comes out. Should Xbox keep it exclusive to Xbox? And there's a part of me that's thinking, yeah, you do that, because that's how you get people to buy your system. Like, I am totally all for Microsoft saying, now any Bethesda game that comes out in the future, sorry Sony, sorry PlayStation fans, looks like you got to get an Xbox to play that game. I would not be upset if Microsoft decided to do that.
Yeah, and I think that's something Microsoft really needs to consider. Like, obviously, I know they want to really do a lot of it, accessibility, which is basically what Microsoft is pushing forward with the next gen.
Yeah.
That's why you're able to finance consoles. That's why there's a $300 console. Like, things like that. If they ever wanted to continue the console war, they're slowly starting to build up ammo for it, because when ZeniMax Studios, it's not only just Bethesda, which, you know, Bethesda's like the big one.
Yeah.
Because they have two of the biggest RPG titles, or like franchises or at least in Western culture, because that's where Elder Scrolls is arguably the biggest. I won't say it's the best, because I think Witcher's better.
Yeah.
But like, Elder Scrolls is one of the biggest. Fallout's one of the biggest. They also now have the rights to Doom, so there's that. Evil Within was one of the horror games that, like, a lot of people have liked recently. I'm trying to remember some of the other games they have on there. Obviously, with the Quake stuff, like, dude, I'm gonna be honest, I don't care about Quake. Mostly because since Quake never has really been a console thing.
You're just really thinking of, like, Bethesda games, like, throughout their history of making games.
Yep. And especially because it's... And my whole thing is now, obviously, I do want fucking Fallout New Vegas 2 or New Orleans or whatever fucking game they decide to do. I don't care. Yeah. I just want Obsidian to have another chance at it, because I still say to this day, they got done dirty. But it's... With this new acquisition, I think it's something that now we're going to be seeing maybe some exclusives, because I saw it somewhere, and I wish I could find it again. It was they had talked about the exclusivity part, and they said that, like, oh, games will be on all platforms case to case basis.
Yeah.
And when I saw that, I'm like, they're definitely gonna fucking probably keep the really big titles as console exclusive.
I mean, they'd be stupid not to, right? Like, to me, I look at it and I go, I get that. Let's say like the new Fallout New Vegas game, whatever you want to call it, New Orleans, if you want to call it Fallout New Vegas 2. Let's just say, like, that's the big one, the big granddaddy that comes out. It's like, if Microsoft was like, no, we want to keep that an Xbox exclusive, I would totally say, I get what you're coming from, because then if I want to play it, I got to get on Xbox to play that. Or at least I would have to get to, if it's on Game Pass, I would have to get Game Pass for PC at the least, if it's even going to be on that, because we don't know. We do know, and this is one thing I did want to point out with this in an article from The Verge, where they talked about like why Microsoft made this deal. There's a short snippet here where it says Microsoft is no longer playing the same game as Sony, and the Bethesda purchase may well make that point clearer than ever before. Sony has followed a tried and true strategy of acquiring promising developers and nurturing them over many years to produce large sequel-friendly franchises like Spider-Man and Horizon Zero Dawn. It also maintains strong relationships with independent Japanese partners like From Software and Square Enix to help maintain its edge so that the new Final Fantasy game or a Demon's Souls remake comes to PlayStation first. Instead, the question we should be asking about Microsoft is what Bethesda brings to Xbox Game Pass and how owning that library helps Microsoft achieve its vision for its subscription service going forward. What's immediately clear is that Bethesda's acquisition makes Game Pass an even better deal, which is, without question, Microsoft's main pivotal priority headed into the new console generation this November. And to me, it's not like, even if the reason I bring that up is even the new Fallout game. Let's say they do keep it exclusive, they wouldn't be blocking me, a PlayStation person, out for long, because if it's on Game Pass, I can at least get it on computer, and they're still making money off of me, even if it's just the subscription, or if it's something to where, because Soapy, you'd be the one to answer this question, because I'm not the Xbox guy, you are. Would it be something where it's like, I would have to get the subscription and then buy the game because it's a new game? Or would I get it from Game Pass even though it's a new game? Or would it not even be on there yet because it's a brand new game and it's not an old game?
On Game Pass, it's every Xbox exclusive launches day one, and you do not have to pay for it.
Okay, so they wouldn't be making, like, it would be different if I bought the console and I bought the game, but at least they're making something. You know what I'm saying? They're making, the $30-some for the higher one and $25, I think, for the lower one? Or is that just
and $25?
Okay, I was like, I couldn't remember if those prices were just if you finance the Xbox consoles, but like they could even do that, and it's like we're keeping it exclusive, but we're not locking anyone out, because that to me is the one thing Xbox and Microsoft can't do. If you're going to be a company that is like, we have Xbox Game Pass, and we're all about, we just want gamers to have access to the games that they love, the Game Pass takes away the argument of like, oh, well, you want me to have it, but you're going to keep it exclusive to Xbox like Sony would, because then they could say, well, it's only $35 for that game. And you can buy the Game Pass, play it for the month, beat it, and then boom, cancel it. And boom, you got the game for $35.
I mean, you still get Microsoft money, though.
Yeah.
In the grand scheme of things, this is basically just what company makes more between Sony and Microsoft.
Do you really think there's going to be enough PlayStation people that are Bethesda fans that will go, no, fuck Bethesda now because I don't want to give Microsoft money? Maybe I'm on the side where there's not enough. There's the people like me where it's like, yeah, I'm going to get a PlayStation. That's my first one. But like, if I really want to play that Fallout game, I'm going to play that Fallout game. I'm not going to care if I'm giving Microsoft money.
I mean, there's also the people that just still hold on to the console war.
Good point.
Like, that's the thing. It's Microsoft knows in the long run, this shit doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Because Microsoft also probably knows if it comes down to like a money war,
yeah,
Sony don't stand a chance.
Mm-hmm.
This is Daddy Microsoft we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Microsoft, I mean, obviously they wouldn't be able to.
Mm-hmm.
Microsoft could definitely pull out enough fucking money to just buy Sony if they wanted to.
But is Sony for sale?
Well, no, they aren't. Because Sony makes way too much fucking money.
Actually, you know what? Speaking of that, I say Microsoft buy Sony, because by buying Sony Entertainment, that would mean the Spider-Man movie franchise would default back to Marvel. So you know what? Go and do it. Go and do it, because I want to see Spider-Man back in Marvel.
I mean, hey, dude, we got to get him back somehow.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's, and especially because, like I said, it's they understand the console war is just a stupid concept.
Mm-hmm.
The whole thing is like the reason why they're so heavily pushing for crossplay. Like the reason they're pushing for so many things like that is because it's like they want gaming to be originally what it's supposed to be. It's
accessible,
just you playing the game.
Everyone.
It doesn't. Yeah, it's like they want, and obviously I understand. This is more of like the monetized version of the original goal of gaming, where gaming's just like like something everyone can do.
Yeah.
But like, for instance, if you let's say you buy a PlayStation, I buy an Xbox, Dave buys a PC, Sean does whatever Sean does, and Dave does whatever Dave does. Or not Dave. Wow, I said Dave twice. But then if Jake buys one,
yeah,
the idea originally of gaming, yeah, like that's what Microsoft ultimate goal is. But Sony's like, no, fuck you. I'm not doing that. And then they get shit for it. And then every game that gets crossplay like a year after launch, everyone's like, who cares? The game's dead now.
Well, and the thing that changed the console war for me is online play, and really like that's where crossplay comes, because I think back to the original console war, and I know you weren't alive at the time, Soapy, and I was maybe like 2 or 3 when it was going on. Also, this guy, I am going to get to your point, so don't think I'm ignoring your point from chat. I'm going to get to that right after this. Is a fact of, think of the Sega Nintendo console war. Of back then, it was pivotal on what games were on each one, where it's like, oh, on Nintendo, that's the only place I could get Super Mario Bros. That's the only place that I could get Legend of Zelda. Where on Sega, it was the only place where I could get Sonic the Hedgehog. It was the only place where I could get, I'm trying to think. I want to say NBA Jam was a Sega exclusive, but I think that came to the NES later on. Let's see. Sega exclusive games. Sonic the Hedgehog. You had Alter Beast was a Sega exclusive. Crazy Taxi. Like some of these Echo the Dolphin. Remember playing that when I was younger. To where it's like it mattered what games your console had, because there wasn't any thought on playing online. There was no online at that time. Online didn't even happen until like 97, 98, when the Windows computers were like, hey, we're going to have dial-up now. And it's like, oh, cool. Fucking no one can use the phone because I want to play StarCraft online. And now that everything is online, it's like crossplay is kind of making it to where like the console war really doesn't matter. Like, yes, there's still exclusives to PlayStation and games that are exclusive to Xbox that you can only play when you're on those, but the bigger games, I'm thinking Fortnite, I'm thinking any battle royale, like even the Call of Duties, I'm thinking Fall Guys, I'm thinking Rocket League, like all of these games are online competitive to where it's like really exclusivity doesn't matter when it comes to those. And that's where gaming is right now. It's all an online eco base of players wanting to play together online. No longer are the days of, hey, I've got the Sega in the back room, let's go ahead and all sit on the couch and play Sonic the Hedgehog together, because there was no online. Like, that is kind of why I feel like the console war to me isn't what they used to be, because there is an online factor now.
Yeah, and that's stuff that, like, and obviously you don't, like me and this guy are, having the conversation in Twitch chat about it. And, like, he brings up the good point of, like, Microsoft originally shut him down.
Yeah.
When the PS3 was getting absolutely slammed by the 360. The thing is, though, right now, like, and I'm going to sound like the biggest PlayStation hater, so understand that. When I say it, I do like PlayStation's exclusives. I think their business model is fine.
Yeah.
Exclusives are a really tough market, because, and I will ask you this, how many games do you, okay, Like, let's look at Naughty Dog, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
Naughty Dog is the people who made Last of Us and Uncharted.
And Crash Bandicoot.
And Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah, don't forget
Wait,
Crash.
did they make Crash Bandicoot?
They did.
Did they make Crash?
Yep, that was one of their originals.
Yeah. So let's look at that studio. Obviously, Uncharted games hit. Some people didn't really like them. I was one of them. I always thought, I'm like, this just looks like a 3D Tomb. Like, this is just 3D Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
Then you have Last of Us. Last of Us hit it off hit it out of the fucking park. The original one, one of the best games of all time.
Yeah.
Then you have the second one. And my whole thing with that is the problem with exclusivity and having games like that. Your exclusives have to hit. There is no if, and, or but about it. If your exclusive sucks, now notice how people are looking at Naughty Dog under a microscope.
Yeah, but and yet again, I am dancing around Ricky needs to play Last of Us 2. And I'm dancing around that without spoiling it. Like, it wasn't a gameplay thing people were mad at. It was a story thing they were mad at, right? With Last of Us?
Yeah, but that still affects it because now people are like, okay, can they even write good stories anymore?
I see, and that, like, the way I look at that is, yes, there are bad stories out there, but the thing that I think of is it because it's a bad story, or did they try to tell something? They're like, you know what, we're gonna take a risk and we're gonna go out there and we're gonna try to tell this story, and it didn't land right. Like, could it just be that where it's like they didn't execute what they wanted to do while taking a risk? Because, like, on the other side, then, would you just want games that was a good story, but it didn't take any risks? Like, do you not want your games to take any sort of risk and just be, you know what, they're all cookie cutter, but they're good stories?
Yeah, and because my whole thing is with them, it was a risk in the fact of you did not need to tell this story.
Okay.
That's what the risk was. And obviously, once again, since you haven't played the game, I have to dance around the spoilers in it.
I will play it. I promise I will beat it ASAP. It is at the top of my list now.
Yeah, and because with that, it's the story they told did not need to be told, because I'm going to be brutally honest, they left it off at a good point after the first one.
They did.
And it's now, like, you could have told the story of what was happening, just minus the other part of it. Because obviously I'm using, like, super fucking broad terms. Anyone who's played the game or has watched someone play through the game knows the parts of the story I'm talking about.
Yeah. Also, another thing I just want to throw in there, an exclusive from Naughty Dog, I completely forgot that I'm an idiot for forgetting. The Jak and Daxter games. Great games.
Wow. Yeah.
You've never played the Jak and Daxter games, have you?
I have played them.
Okay. I forget whether you've had the PS2 or the PS, like, 1.
Yeah, we talked about it before, and how we talked about that Jak and Daxter and Ratchet and Clank are really similar games.
They are. They're like, they've got the same thing. Protagonist who, the only thing is Ratchet talks. Jax didn't. And then the comedic. Is Clank really comedic? Like, he's more comedic timing, whereas Daxter is more like your Eddie Murphy, Robin Williams, where it's like, I am pure comedy, and I'm going to be pure comedy 24/7.
Clank's more like the Navi from like the Legend of Zelda games.
Yes, but less annoying.
Where he's the one who basically tells you, "Dumbass, go this way."
Yeah, but less annoying too. It's not like, "Hey, look," every 2 seconds.
Yeah, but basically to get back to my point though, I think with exclusives, like, you need to have a certain amount of risk, but a certain amount of keeping it normal. With them, I think they jumped the gun a shit ton.
Yeah.
Because the whole thing was, like, we already kind of had questions about the writing, because with Uncharted 4, like, Uncharted 4, I will say, is easily the worst Uncharted game, like, by far. The same guy who wrote Uncharted 4 wrote Last of Us 2.
Okay.
Just to let you know that. And
makes sense then why you would then say, well, no, not many people liked Last of Us 2, not many people liked Uncharted 4.
Yeah. And that's the thing of, like, with exclusivity, it's not a sustainable market because yes, people will buy your games to play them.
Yeah.
The second your exclusives start failing, you have the people who are like, well, I was buying this console just for Last of Us, and now Last of Us sucks dick. I guess I'm not going to buy it anymore.
Yeah, like you make a good point of like the exclusives have to be good. Just having a bunch of exclusives is not going to get people to stay on your console. And to me, I feel like with Microsoft buying Bethesda, they are now like, and they say case by case. To me, I would be honest. I would just say, I wouldn't say it publicly, but behind closed doors, I would be like, you know what? They're ours. Bethesda are our games. If people want to come and play, because like I said, they'll be on Game Pass. It's very, I know that there are people out there, like I will mention Greg Miller is one of these people that is like totally against computer gaming, where makes a joke of like when someone brings up a computer, he always makes the joke of, oh, a computer, what, you do your taxes on it and shit like that? And there might be people that are like, I don't want to fucking play it on a computer. Like, I'm not a computer gamer. There are people out there. Like, Dave is mad at me all the time because I want to play first-person shooters with one of these because I'm better with my thumbs, where Dave is better with one of these in his hand. Like, that's just, like, gamers are different. It's what you're used to, and I can see how there might be some people that are like, well, I would love to play Fallout, but I just, like, I don't have a computer that can run it. I hate computer gaming. Like, those people are going to be excluded, but I feel like there'll be enough people that are like, you know what, I'll fucking play it on computer. To where this is a win for Microsoft. They can keep games on their side and kind of take away from PlayStation, but even I'll say, and this guy makes a point, you can use the controller on a PC, but like, how many people know that? Like, there might be that small part that doesn't know that you can use a controller on the PC. Or, like I said, maybe they're like, well, I can use a controller on the PC, but my PC isn't a good PC. Like, it's not a gaming computer. I just have a regular computer because I play all my games on the PlayStation. So, like I said, that's like a small number that I think. And just my last thing I'll say about this before I have you do your final thoughts is like, what you and this guy were talking about in chat is when it comes to, like, he brought up Xbox shut the door on PlayStation during the PS3 era. PlayStation's kind of shutting the door now on Xbox when it comes to crossplay. That's just how competition is. Whoever the top dog is going to slam the door on the one in second place because they don't want the one in second place to get equal to them or maybe past them. So, like, if Xbox was on top, I know we look at Xbox and like hey, look at us, we're the good guys, we just want games to be games. But I would find a hard time of them basically letting, oh, we're going to let the person below us potentially make more money and compete with us, because this is business, this is capitalism. It all comes down to money, and basically when you're in first, like Ricky Bobby would say, if you ain't first, you're last. That's just kind of is, and that's kind of the thinking. Before we move on, Soaps, what are your final thoughts?
I'm really happy that they bought ZeniMax Studios. So I can't wait to see what everything that they do with it.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully we get Fallout New Vegas 2 and or Fallout New Orleans or whatever the game's gonna be. Yeah, I just want fucking Obsidian to make another Fallout game.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't wait.
Let's move on, though. The next bit of news that we are talking about comes from Blizzard. And Soapy, we talked about this earlier in the year, and it is now official. As on Monday, today, Blizzard announced BlizzConline. I'm not quite sure if I like the name. BlizzCon Online would have been better, but it's BlizzConline BlizzConline, an all-digital convention that will serve as a replacement for BlizzCon 2020. In May, Blizzard announced the cancellation of BlizzCon 2020, which joined a sea of gaming conventions that were canceled due to the COVID-19 pandemic. At the time, Blizzard revealed tentative plans to host an online event in early 2021, which we now know will be BlizzCon Live. BlizzConline will run February 19th through the 20th, so a 2-day event, 2021. Blizzard hasn't announced a price for virtual tickets or if the event will cost anything at all to attend. The game developer revealed several activities as part of its community showcase and offered some guidelines for players and fans wanting to participate, including safety guidelines for some group activities. The studio hasn't released if it will announce or showcase any games at BlizzConline, as it usually does at BlizzCon proper. Last year, Blizzard officially revealed Diablo 4, Overwatch 2, and World of Warcraft Shadow Legends. So, Soapy with this, and I mean Shadowlands, not Shadow Legends. I do that all the time.
I was going to say, are we talking about Raid?
Raid Shadow Legends. You didn't know this video was sponsored by it? No, we're not one of those. We're not sponsored by Raid. I've never even played Raid, I'll be completely honest. But if Raid wants to throw us their money, I'll shell it out. I'm not against it. But what we're talking about is BlizzConline. First off, I'm not a fan of the name. Every time I say it, like, for some reason, I think of I think of jail and convicts when I think of Conline. That's what I think of. But Soapy, the two things I'm wondering from this: number one, they haven't set a price. I'm going to be completely honest, just make it free. Like, I know you're going to want to make money off of this, but there's a part of me that feels like the best interest to do is exactly what DC did with DC Fandom. Make it free for everybody. You then let more people in to watch the event, which makes it a bigger deal. And then you can just showcase your stuff. Like, I get it. You want to make money off of stuff and you're going to lose some money because in person you'd be selling in-person tickets. But I don't know. Maybe I'm on the other side of, just make it free. Do what DC Fandom did. So we'll start with that. Do you think they should make it for free or sell a virtual ticket?
I think they should do it free, and it's also because it's one of those things of I have absolutely no idea what Blizzard's going to be talking about. Like, what, are we going to get more about Diablo? More about Overwatch 2? It's like, my whole thought process going into it is just, I don't see a reason to watch BlizzCon, and it's because I don't know if there's anything that they're going to announce. Like, well, why would I pay for an event that I don't know what I'm getting?
So, here's what I'm thinking, because that's the other thing I was going to go into is, what are they going to reveal? And I've got some ideas. I feel like, number one, they're going to give us they're going to give us not a cinematic trailer. They're going to give us actual gameplay on Diablo 4. That's number one, I would say. Number two, I think they'll give us more on Overwatch 2. Either a new cinematic, maybe an in-depth panel with Jeff Kaplan about more revealed about the game. And the big one I feel like, and this is the one that's like, if I had to put my money on a prediction from the WoW side, I feel like this is the case. Because Shadowlands is coming out in October. So it's really, you're not going to announce a new expansion. What I feel like they are going to do is they announced WoW Classic. And WoW Classic has been running smoothly. The thing I would have to look up is in the release schedule, since I stopped playing Classic, has ZA. So how the instances went or the raids went is it was Molten Core, then they added what went after Molten Core? I completely forgot. It was basically though Nax was the last one. Naxxramas was the last big raid. And then after Nax, there was one little one. It was called Zulamond, I think. It was just ZA is what I remember it being called. And it was a mini instance in or a mini raid, I should say, in Stranglethorn that, thank you, Dave. So it was Molten Core, Blackwing Lair, then ZG, AQ, Nax, and then ZG, or ZA was at the end of it. So right now they're not quite to Nax, but what I think what they are going to do is, I think at February we get the announcement that Burning Crusade Classic is coming. Like, that's what I think. I think that they will announce, hey, Burning Crusade Classic is coming. Boom, here you go. Because if they're on AQ, and thank you, Dave, for the update on that. If they're on AQ right now, Nax is not far behind. I think it's one of those things where it's like Nax will be released then at the beginning of 2021, maybe the end of 2020. And then at the end of 2021, boom, here you go, Burning Crusade Classic. The fans will be happy, I think, because Burning Crusade, to me, was my favorite expansion. And I want to say, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I would say out of the expansions, it was one of the most beloved expansions because of nostalgia. But like, if I had to put my money on one thing they're going to announce at BlizzConline, it would be Burning Crusade Classic is what I would say. But like, really, what else? Are they just going to show us more on Overwatch 2, more on Diablo? It's kind of up in the air for me besides that BC stuff.
Yeah, and the only reason why like I have a problem with it just being that, it's like, okay, those are your only two really big titles we know of.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, like, yeah, you can announce other projects there, which is fine, but like, I don't want to pay $5 to see, hey, a new Overwatch cinematic.
Yeah.
When they'll just upload it to YouTube like a couple hours afterwards for free.
Mm-hmm.
And I can, like, that's my whole problem with doing online conventions. And obviously, we have to do it because of COVID and everything. But like, I could just watch the gameplay later for free. For me, online conventions should be free.
Yeah, that's why I think they should model what DC Fandom did, where it's DC Fandom 2 days, just like what BlizzCon wants to do. And basically what they did was start at 11 o'clock, went to 11 o'clock. And like the biggest panels were what? Like the biggest one was a half hour. Some of them were just 10 minutes. Some of them were 15 minutes, to where it's like they could be short things. Like they don't have to be super long, because like BlizzCon conventions, when you're on the panel, it's a big long thing. But you don't have to do that. Hey, we're talking about like this. This is the WoW panel, the WoW Classic panel. This is the World of Warcraft. Maybe they have a Shadowlands update that they want to share, or they want to talk a little bit about like how the Shadowlands release has been. Like, I wouldn't be upset with that. Like, but can you do other things? Like DC Fandom, what they did that I liked was they supplemented it with different things. And I know they were working with a lot more. They had a TV area, they had movies, they had comics. But like, there was one that I didn't think I'd find it interesting, but it was Jim Lee sat down with a aspiring artist, and he basically like talked through this guy's art and like, okay, this is what I like, this is what I don't like this is what I would do. And it was kind of like, if you're into drawing comics or you want to get into that, like, this was cool. You're getting like kind of firsthand tips from one of the great comic drawers of our era, Jim Lee. And I know Dave makes a great point. Blizzard equals Activision equals money. In game items, it'll be a thing for the ticket. Pets in WoW and Diablo. Something shiny for Hearthstone, etc. So, like, do I expect it to be money? Yes, because of the Activision side. I truly do. But I feel like if Blizzard wants to knock this out of the park, look at what DC Fandom did. That's what I would do. Look at what they did. Kind of model it after that. It'll be a win-win with fans. Like, that's just what I think about it. But Soapy, moving on. Shorty But A Goodie. We've got a couple things in this section. Number one, PS5 retailers appear to have fewer digital editions for pre-order. So that's just something I wanted to kind of get out there, because like, I know myself, I see this and it's like, oh shit, I want that digital version of the PlayStation. So how I would basically view this, if you have not because according to IGN, it says the ratios at individual locations vary from store to store, with some seeming as low as 13% of all PS5 pre-orders being the digital edition, others seeing as high as 33%, and the most common being around 20%. So I'm looking at that. Hey, they might have less digital editions because not many people are pre-ordering them. So if you're like me and you want a digital edition, make sure you get on that, I would say, because I don't want to be stuck with one with a disk drive that's going to be a disk drive that I don't fucking use. The other thing, Soapy, is PS5 file sizes were revealed. You mentioned this yesterday while you and I were just talking. I'll ask you what you think. Sony has revealed the first estimated file sizes for PS5's Spider-Man Miles Morales and Demon's Souls. And they could take up to 20% of your PS5's SSD. These file sizes were revealed on the PlayStation Direct website, where you can buy the PlayStation consoles, games, and accessories right from Sony. Miles Morales Launch Edition will require at least 50 gigabytes, while the Ultimate Launch Edition will need at least 105 gigabytes of space, as it also includes a remastered version of the 2018 Marvel Spider-Man. Demon's Souls, which is a remake of the 2009 PS3 game, will need 66 gigabytes of space. If you were to purchase Miles Morales Ultimate Edition and Demon's Souls digitally, you will need 171 gigabytes of storage. And I believe it's 512 is the cap. So, Soapy, what are your thoughts on these games being 171 gigabytes of the 512 for the PlayStation 5?
Man, dude, you better also buy a fucking external hard drive with it too, because, oh boy, you're really gonna need it.
Well, I mean, like, here's the thing I'm thinking of is, so I know they mentioned like the Ultimate Edition for Miles Morales, and here's the thing I'm thinking of. Is the Ultimate Edition even worth it? Because yes, it comes with Marvel Spider-Man, but I was reading another article that said your progress from PlayStation 4 doesn't transfer over. So, like, yes, it's going to look nicer on PS5, but if you've already beaten the game once, and then when the DLCs came out, you beat it again for the Platinum Trophy, or to get 100% in the trophies, do you really want to, like, are there going to be enough people that want to play it a third time? Like, you know what I mean? When, like, there's other games that are coming out, like Call of Duty, Valhalla, Cyberpunk, like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just on the other side of I played it twice, I don't need to play it again. Like, is that really something that you see a lot of fans being like, oh my God, I need that for the PS5?
I don't think so. And my whole thing is, I mean, also once again, I was never interested in the Spider-Man games to begin with. So maybe it's different with me. It's like, if like, and obviously I think you said before that, like, you've played it twice through.
Mm-hmm. That's only because I'm a trophy whore. That's only because, like, I had to 100% that game. Like, I had the Platinum, I could have left it alone, but I'm like, nope, gotta have, like, that's a game where I have to have 100% and the Platinum.
Well, I mean, hey, it's more power to you. I don't know if it is, and obviously once again, because I've never played it, so I don't know how good the game is. So, like, it could be a great game, but, like, once again, I may not want to play a great game 4 times.
Yeah. Especially when time is money, and like I said, there's a ton of games coming out when the PlayStation releases. Also, I'm an idiot, and math is hard. 171 of 512 is not just 20%. This guy helping me out is actually 825 is the space of the PS5. Still, 20% of your drive is being taken up. Soapy, the last thing for Shorty But A Goodie, I'm going to let you handle this one because you're the Xbox guy, but from The Verge, Microsoft's new digital Xbox store now available on all Xbox One, or to all Xbox One owners. Microsoft redesigned the Xbox store, rolls out digitally to all users today. after its successful initial deployment to insiders early last month. As the colleague of The Verge, Chris Welsh, pointed out in his early review, the new storefront loads dramatically faster than its predecessors. It's been optimized for the era of Game Pass, meaning it's easier to see the difference between different versions of a game in the store, and there's a new focus on parental controls. Soapy, I was going to ask you, have you got to see this firsthand today as you are an Xbox owner?
I have. I was actually one of the people who signed up for the Insider program.
Okay, so you've been getting it for a while now.
Yeah. This ain't my first rodeo. And the store is so much goddamn better now.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, every time you open it, it feels like it has to fucking update.
Yeah.
But that's just because Xbox hates me.
Well, is that also because the thing I'm thinking of, is that because, like, will it run smoother? Obviously, it's going to run smoother on the X.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Like maybe this was built for the next gen, but they're able to roll it out now so Xbox users can see, like, oh, this is what the store is going to look like next gen.
Yeah, and I mean, and with the store looking the way it does, it is a lot easier to get to stuff because, God forbid we moved into the 20th fucking century.
I know, right?
Hell, the 21st, even in that, we finally have a thing on the side of the bar, or on the side of the screen that we can scroll through.
Mm-hmm.
So, we finally have figured out that the sidebar good, scrolling straight downward bad. And I'm fucking happy that they changed it, because I will say that is the one thing I've always hated about Xbox was the store and just menus in general were just so clunky. And now, it seems like they're finally starting to fix those problems. I can't wait.
So, Soapy, I'm sorry to bring you on bad terms to end the show, but we got to talk about something you ain't going to want to talk about.
See, you say that you feel bad about it, but you're the one who put it at last.
Yeah, so it's journalistic integrity, Soapy. We have, like, the people need to know our opinions on it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
do they?
I think they do. I think they do. Like, this is what they come to us for. And the last thing, this happened over the weekend. I'm getting this from The Verge. Epic says Apple cherry-picked info about Fortnite's popularity in new filing. Apple has suggested that Epic started the legal fight over Fortnite. Let's see. In the ongoing Epic versus Apple saga, Epic says in a new legal filing that Apple made incorrect statements in its own legal filing early this week, asserting that Apple cherry-picked Google search results about the popularity of Epic's Fortnite game. Apple had suggested that Epic started the legal fight over Fortnite in the App Store as a publicity stunt, and that Fortnite had already started to decline in popularity. For reasons having nothing to do with Epic's claim against Apple, Fortnite's popularity is now on wane. By July 2020, interest in Fortnite had decreased by nearly 70% as compared to October 2019. This lawsuit and the front page headlines it has generated appears to be part of a marketing campaign designed to reinvigorate interest in Fortnite. Apple kicked Fortnite off the store, blah, blah, blah. We know about that. In the latest filing embedded below, if you're dying to check out all the latest, Epic says Apple's statement of declining interest in Fortnite is untrue, citing its own user engagement data over a period of time that Apple cherry-picked for its Google search history comparison between October 2019 and July 2020. The number of daily users on Fortnite actually increased by more than 39%, the filing states. Epic did not immediately return a request for comment Saturday. A full court hearing is scheduled for September 28th. Soapy, what are your thoughts on this? Okay. If the numbers are true, because we are in a day and age where people don't believe numbers, Soapy. Where I know this is off the topic of Epic Apple. I literally watched a video today where someone asked someone about the numbers of coronavirus. And you know what they said?
Number 8 real.
I don't believe the numbers. They are facts. They are numbers. It is science. What don't you believe? This could be the same thing of like, let's say Fortnite did increase in popularity. Is this just pettiness going back and forth, or does Epic actually have a case here that Apple might be trying to sway the court into a decision by using something that just ain't true?
Dude, I'm gonna be brutally honest. At this point, I just don't even care anymore. Like, just hearing this, like, this has nothing. Like, just hearing this topic alone, this has 0% to do with the original lawsuit. This is just Epic basically flexing. And they're like, oh yeah? Well, we weren't losing popularity. It's just like, dude, shut up. Just accept that you're going to lose the lawsuit, get over it, go home, and just cry about it, you big fucking baby, because Tim Sweeney's probably going to tweet about it.
I mean,
this is a disastrous choice from your court. And she's going to fucking put something like that on Twitter.
So I did go to his Twitter. He did tweet something yesterday talking about type systems and type checking and programming languages. But like, I'm like, that doesn't really have anything to do here. He talked about tree growth has an interesting dimensional dynamic height. And I'm reading that. I'm like, okay, has nothing to do. Mainly the only things that he has tweeted about is stuff like, so Fortnite put out 4 days ago, Apple is preventing us from distributing games on Mac, which ends our ability to develop Fortnite. Someone quoted that and said, interesting to note that since notarization is effectively mandatory at mainstream scale, Apple deciding to kick you off the developer program means that you can't distribute even outside of the App Store on Mac. So really, he hasn't tweeted about this. But I just see this as, is this going to basically fall into like, ooh, Epic got a win here? Not really. It doesn't play into the case at all. The facts are still the facts. But I think this plays into a fact that Apple might have been trying to do something they didn't have to do. Because if the numbers are right, which, yet again, when the numbers come from a source, like, for example, I could say MVP videos are up 100% views this month. Is that true? Like, obviously the analytics are not going to lie to me, but I just said that off the top of my brain. Like, are you going to think that I'm being truthful? Like, I'll be honest, I just made that number up right now. But like, when it's coming from the source, there might be a little bit of like, okay, we got to really see if these numbers are true. But if they are true, Apple didn't need to do this. Apple didn't need to say like, oh, their popularity was declining. All they had to say was, hey, we believe this is a publicity stunt because of the now free press that Fortnite is getting. Don't have to mention anything in the numbers about it declining, because let's just say, even if it was increasing, you could still then say, well, yeah, it was increasing. This is Epic trying to get that number to increase more. That's the fight you could put in if you were trying to say that this was a publicity stunt from Epic. So like, for me, I just see this as, Apple tried to go a certain way. It might not have worked in their favor. They might have tried to go for the kill shot and might not have got it, but like, this will all be settled in 7 days. I still expect Apple to win this. We will be covering this when it happens, obviously, and then Soapy can be a happy man because we'll never have to talk about it again, because hopefully it'll be over and done with on the 28th. But that is going to do it for MVP Games Live today. I want to thank you guys for watching. Make sure to join the Discord. Link down below in the description, or exclamation Discord. in Twitch chat. Make sure to support us at patreon.com/MVPvids at any of our tiers: bronze, silver, gold, and platinum. Thank you to our Patreon sponsors, Pat Hill and Philly Sean. Also, you can sub to us at twitch.tv/MVPvids, where you can get the same rewards as a bronze patron. We are live on that Twitch page every Monday through Friday, but we're also on YouTube at MVP Entertainment. So please sub, follow, like, anything you got to do at both of those places. It would really help us out and make sure that you're always seeing the great content from MVP. For those of you on Twitch, Dave and I will be up next for Football Monday on MVP Sports Live. Soapy and I will be back tomorrow, Tuesday, the 22nd, for more gaming news. That's going to do it for us today. And as always, have a good day, everybody.
Bye.